Philadelphia signed both a safety and a punter to fill much-needed injured positions. The Dallas Cowboys could be without a starting tackle for their matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Eagles' top 5 draft pick is now a top 4 draft pick. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Tuesday. We are getting so close to Christmas, but we got to work through this entire week. I know you're sitting at your job. I'm doing mine. But let's jump into some good news regarding Philadelphia. They have addressed their 2 big needs following 2 big injuries in the Giants game, the first of which is resigning a former Eagles safety to play now the current safety position, and that is Anthony Harris. Bleeding Green Nation article. Let's just jump right into it here. You see, Eagles reportedly re-signed their former starting safety. That has become official. Quote, Philadelphia Eagles are indeed re-signing Anthony Harris, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter. Harris and new punter Brett Kern, more on him in a second, are specifically being signed to the Eagles practice squad, according to Jeff McClain. Eagles hosted Anthony Harris, their former starting safety, on a free agent visit on Monday, according to a report from NFL insider Mark Garofalo. Harris was waived by the Denver Broncos last week. Between spending time on the practice squad and the roster, Harris logged 43 special team snaps over 3 games played. He did not see any defensive playing time. Harris latched on with the Broncos back in September, shortly after the Eagles and him mutually agreed to terminate his practice squad contract in Philly. Here's what we wrote at the time, and they went on to explain why Anthony Harris was no longer an Eagle. Now, this is interesting. Quote, the Eagles seemingly have interest in bringing Harris back following injuries to both CJ Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blakenship. Gardner-Johnson will miss at least 2 more games while on injured reserve due to a lacerated kidney. Blankenship reportedly avoided an injury that will necessitate a trip to IR, but he will miss a game or 2, end quote. Now, I want to be very clear about the Anthony Harris signing. He's not coming in to start this weekend. I'd be shocked if Anthony Harris starts a safety for Philadelphia on Sunday against the Bears, and honestly, I'd be shocked if he starts against the Cowboys. Let me explain why. K'Von Wallace is not a good safety. That's a very, very, very true fact. However, K'Von Wallace has been in the system for longer, or at least been in the system this year for longer. He knows the playbook a lot better than Anthony Harris. He's in a lot better shape than Anthony Harris. He's a lot younger than Anthony Harris. Now, Harris is a savvy veteran, but the fact that Anthony Harris could not see the playing field at all in Denver and did not log a single defensive snap this year is less playing time than what K'Von Wallace has been able to do so far this year. And so while I'm not going to say I trust K'Von Wallace by any means, I trust him more than Anthony Harris, at least early. Now, Harris comes in, maybe give him a week, maybe he plays in the Cowboy game. I just said he might not, but you never know. It'll depend on how good K'Von Wallace can do at that position, but this feels more like a depth situation because if K'Von Wallace or Marcus Epps were to get injured, there's no safety behind them, right? I mean, you can move Maddox maybe back to safety. He's done that a little bit in his career, get him out of the nickel position, but that's unlikely. This is more of a depth signing in case another injury at safety were to happen in the Sunday matchup against the Bears, or perhaps the next Saturday Christmas Eve matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. But it is nice that they went ahead and addressed the situation. This does put to bed all the Malcolm Jenkins rumors out there. And I know we talked about Malcolm Jenkins weeks ago, but the idea of getting Malcolm Jenkins with his contract situation with the Saints, it was nearly impossible. And bringing in Anthony Harris makes a lot more sense, even though, again, Harris probably not going to play much. Thumbs up for Philadelphia, making some smart moves there and bringing in a savvy veteran who has played in the Eagles system before. Now, in terms of Kern, let's just go ahead and quickly update you on the punter situation. Not anything special here. No offense to punters, but he's a punter, so you can only take so much. Just kick the ball, right? Kick the ball more than 40 yards. That's all we really asked for. Quote, Eagles are signing 3-time Pro Bowl punter Brett Kern to replace Aaron Siposs, who is out indefinitely with an ankle injury, according to Ruben Frank, Eagles insider at NBC Sports. Siposs, in his second year at the Eagles, got hurt late in the second quarter of the Eagles' 48-21 win of the Giants Sunday at MetLife Stadium as he advanced the punt on his own after he recovered it after it was blocked. Nick Sirianni said Monday afternoon Siposs would be out a little longer than we expected, which indicates a stay on injured reserve. Kern, 36, began his career in 2008 with the Broncos, released in October of 2009, claimed by the Titans to replace former Eagle Reggie Hodges. He remained with the Titans through last year, made Pro Bowls in 2017, 2018, and 2019 seasons, and was a first-team All-Pro in 2019. He led the NFL with a 49.7 gross average in 2017. Now, this started to kind of come down. They talk about it later, but overall, he's played in 219 games. He's a savvy punter. He'll do just fine. I mean, again, you're not winning a Super Bowl because you have the best punter in the National Football League. You win the Super Bowl because you have the best quarterback in the National Football League, which Philadelphia does. But again, we kind of figured Siposs's injury was going to be at least a couple of weeks. Now it seems like it'll be a little bit longer, and so Kern comes to the rescue, and Kern has a chance now to win a Super Bowl ring. So thumbs up for that. Good job to him. There are your two big updates. I'm going to jump into some of the other big NFL stories here in just 1 second. First, though, if you guys do feel confident about Philadelphia winning on Saturday, as I do, can bet on the game with our friends at DraftKings. Bet $5 on the Eagles. Money line to get $150 if they win. See it all on your screen, link down below in the description box. Just sign up with my DraftKings link, deposit $5+ bucks, $5+ money line bet, then placed on the next Eagles game, which is Sunday. You'll get $150 back if the Eagles win. That's over $150 in addition to your winnings. A crazy good deal if you guys feel like Philadelphia's going to win. It's not like a line situation. It's money line. So basically it means if Philly wins or loses, and they've done that 12 times so far this year. So bet on the Eagles with their friends at DraftKings. The link is down below right now. All right, we're going to rapid fire here on some of the other big stories that do impact Philadelphia to end the show today. First of which, I did not see this coming. Dallas has just lost their starting right tackle 2 weeks ahead of the rematch with Philadelphia. Bleeding Green Nation has the write-up here, quote, despite entering Week 14 as 17-point home favorites, the Dallas Cowboys narrowly avoided losing to the worst team in the NFL on Sunday. One of the Houston Texans decided a sneak from a 1-yard line to go up 10 points instead of overthinking it and turning the ball over on downs. Though the Cowboys escaped with a win they did not deserve, they did not emerge unscathed. Dallas loses starting right tackle Terrence Steele for the season due to an ACL injury, according to multiple reports. Once viewed as a weak point in their offensive line, Steele has developed into a good starter. He ranks 20th among 87 offensive tackle grades by PFF this season. RJ Ochoa from Blogging the Boys, friend of the show here, touched on how the Cowboys will move forward without him. Quote, as far as how this impacts the current Cowboys, the team immediately turned to Josh Ball, but he played very poorly. The Cowboys changed to Jason Peters at right tackle for what was the game-winning drive, and he could be the option at the position moving forward, end quote. So not only will Christmas Eve be a magical time for the Eagles to put away the Dallas Cowboys, win the NFC East, and essentially guarantee the number 1 overall seed, they could do it against former Eagle, legend, love Jason Peters, but betrayer to the Dallas Cowboys starting at right tackle, who, again, Jason Peters is 97 years old. That's facts. Not even, no cap there. He's 97 years old. And while he played well for a snap, let's see how Jason Peters holds up against Hassan Reddick and Brandon Graham for 4 straight quarters in a must-win matchup for the Dallas Cowboys on Christmas Eve, or else all the little Cowboy fans will go home crying with coal in their stockings and make for a miserable Sunday in every single Dallas Cowboy home, which is what we could all hope for as Eagle fans. Not that bad, but still, you get my point. Big blow there for Dallas. If you can get some pressure on Dak Prescott, he can fold. And again, Jason Peters, not a great run-blocking tackle at this point in his career because he's 97 years old. So, bummer. You never root for anyone to get hurt. You don't want that to happen. We'll see how they overcome, but it's very poetic. You could see Jason Peters getting whipped by 10+ sack guy this year, Hassan Reddick, and hopefully 10+ sack guy this year, Brandon Graham, who've been on a tear the past couple of weeks. All right, NFL Power Rankings here. We always look at this on a Tuesday. Let's see if Philadelphia's number 1. I actually haven't looked at this. Here we go. Okay, this is actually the draft order. I got the wrong website. Draft order first, then Power Rankings, because I looked and I saw Houston. Okay, so here's the update on the draft orders. You see, we do this on the fly, right? I off the cuff here. My actual thoughts. I'm not rehearsing anything. That's proof right there. Houston, of course, they still have the number 1 overall pick. They will have the number 1 overall pick by the end of the year. How about Seattle? Because this, of course, comes from Denver, the number 2 overall draft pick. That is crazy. And even if Geno Smith... Now, this is interesting. Smith could go somewhere else because he's a free agent. This could be back-to-back quarterbacks taken with the first 2 picks. Don't forget about that. Chicago is number 3. They don't need a quarterback, but could use some offensive line or pass rusher help. That could be a situation where they go for the Alabama pass rusher. And then, boom, Philadelphia from the New Orleans Saints pick. They are up to 4, a top 5 pick. That is massive. That is very exciting right here. Philadelphia, oh man. We talked about top 10. We talked about being number 5. Now it is number 4. The Lions via the Rams is 5. Again, keep rooting for the Rams. Very important. Cardinals at 6. That's going to get even worse because Arizona has been terrible. But they play the Broncos this week, and so battle of 2 worst teams. I mean, either one wins. Doesn't really matter. And then, of course, Indianapolis 7. The Raiders 8. And then the Falcons at 9. Carolina at 10. So this is still a top 5 pick. And I'll be shocked if it gets anywhere higher than, let's say, 6 by the end of the year. Fun to look at here on our draft check-in on a Tuesday. All right, be sure to subscribe. We'll have plenty of more stuff coming up next couple of days and weeks. We'll finish with the power rankings here from NFL.com as we do every single week. Philadelphia stays at the number 1 spot. No surprise here. I mean, you want to read this stuff? This is ridiculous, right? We know. They're great. 48-22, 1,000 yards for Sanders, 1,000 yards for A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts is the MVP. Philadelphia, really, I mean, seriously, they should have Executive of the Year, Howie Roseman. They should have Coach of the Year, Nick Sirianni. They should have Quarterback of the Year, or MVP, in Jalen Hurts. If it's not those 3, or at least 2 of the 3, it doesn't make sense. Because if you say Jalen Hurts is the MVP, Howie Roseman is the Executive of the Year, but don't give Sirianni Coach of the Year, like, what are you saying there? He's not been the NFL head coach of the best quarterback in the best franchise with the best record of the entire league. It'll be ridiculous, but you see them there at 1. How about San Fran at 2? That's pretty crazy to put San Francisco at 2. I tweeted this yesterday. Brock Purdy, very impressive. He had a great overall start, but his first start, okay? Brock Purdy is young. He was Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft for a reason. Do you trust Brock Purdy to go to Philadelphia and win a playoff game? I don't. Now, I get that their defense is special. I get that they have weapons. Deebo Samuel, though, ankle injury, going to be out extended period of time. I don't think they're the second best team in the NFL. If healthy, they were, but they're not. Now, Brock Purdy could go on a Nick Foles-like run, beat Philadelphia in the NFC Championship game. I'll eat my word, sure. But you're telling me you believe in Brock Purdy right now with one start under him against a, let's be real, not so great Bucs team this year that can't score offensively to put pressure on you to score offensively? I'm not buying it. They're a top 5 team. I wouldn't put them at 2. Cincinnati 3, sure, that's fine. Buffalo 4, Kansas City, sitting there at number 5. I would bump Kansas City ahead of Buffalo. I would leave them behind Cincinnati, and I would move San Francisco all the way back down to number 5 because I would take the Chiefs, I would take the Bills, I would take the Bengals, and the Eagles to all beat the 49ers in a playoff game. That's just me. We'll round out the top 10. Cowboys at 6. They fell 4 spots there. Remember, they were 2 last week. What happens when you barely beat the Texans, who should have won that game. Goodness gracious. Vikings at 7. And then, of course, Baltimore at 8. Baltimore is grossly overrated. I know they're injured, but they're going to get waxed by the Bills or the Chiefs in a playoff game. Chargers at 9. And Detroit. How about those Lions? We love the Lions on this show, sitting there at number 10. All right, there you go. There's your update here on a Tuesday. Again, the Anthony Harris, Brett Kern signings, they're not that big of a deal. Don't let people tell you it's a massive deal. They might not even play, at least Anthony Harris. Kern will because he's a punter, but this whole idea Anthony Harris is going to immediately come out here and be the savior of Philadelphia. No, Philadelphia needs to tread water against the Bears, a.k.a. don't overlook the Bears, and then beat the Cowboys, and then Gardner-Johnson comes back. Obviously, Dallas Goedert back by the Cowboy game. They're going to be healthy and ready to rock for a deep, deep, deep Super Bowl run. All right, I'm Thomas Mott, out of time here. Be sure to do better on the next one. Be sure to subscribe and give a thumbs up. We'll see you guys tomorrow. See ya.